And we're live. Good evening, everybody. Just in case that didn't come through, good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing on this fine Saturday evening? Today is January 11th. It's about 8:17 Central Time, and I got the sim loaded up back at Boston Logan International Airport. We're sitting in the PMDG 737 again, and I've kind of changed my plans. Originally, when I streamed earlier, I said I'd be doing the return flight back to Chicago. But actually, I've decided to take our 737 on a little bit more of an exciting adventure. And we're going to actually be heading over to Iceland tonight. So, I'm going to get everything configured. I have nothing configured in the airplane yet for this trip. So we're going to get everything programmed and get our way on over to Iceland. I haven't been there in a little bit. So that'll be kind of fun. Gonna get our dome light on and some other stuff set up here real quick in preparation. There's no air traffic control on right now at Boston yet. Maybe we'll get some a little later. But for now, it looks like it's gonna be CTAF and probably quiet on the air traffic control side. Majority of the flight. Unfortunately, there's no centers on north of us. And Boston Center is pretty much the last center in the U.S. that we'd be talking to before we kind of move our way out over the Atlantic Ocean for the crossing. So maybe something will change, though, by the time we get going here. I mean, it's not going to take us super long to get going because really it's pretty simple programming everything in. But I'm going to tune up the CTAF here, which is 1288, just to see what type of traffic we have going on. I haven't really looked at any of the programs to see what type of traffic we're dealing with here, but it seems like there's a couple of people already talking. Let me get my panel all dimmed here because it is very bright. It hurts my eyes. I don't really even need that side on. Okay, cool. I'm gonna turn off. I really don't like the light, the background light that much. Kind of bothers me. If anything, I'll take the dome light on and put it on bright.
Takeoff roll 27.
So that's perfectly fine there. Okay, we'll dim this down a little bit too. All right, so first things first, the thing that I always do is I go ahead and get the SimBrief flight loaded up in here on the tablet, the electronic flight book, because the best thing about that is if I go over to my FMC and request a route, it pops up right here. And the even better thing is I can quickly set my payload and my fuel, so I don't have to mess with any of that stuff. That's like my favorite feature now. I used to do it a different way, but now that I've kind of discovered I can just do that, it speeds so much stuff up and it makes it just more simplistic. So we just gotta wait for our route to populate here. There it is.
Boston traffic.
Load that up.
Will be lining up runway 7.
Oh, there's a lot of traffic.
And Boston traffic, Air Canada 226 passing through 600 for 5,000. And Highland 7 departure, final call, Boston traffic's yet.
There's a lot of people leaving. Let me get some programs set up on my other screen here so I can get this the route loaded in for charts and all that stuff. Okay, perfect. Looks like we're good there. All right, next thing we need to do is get our departure set up. And I also got to choose what our arrival into Iceland is going to be, or what we're planning on doing, I should say. So let's see what they want right now in Iceland. Holy cow. 26 knot crosswind. That's brutal. Okay, 33 left isn't even used at Boston right now, so 27's the departure. I wonder if I can get off on that runway, though. That might be the reason why they're forcing me to use it, but we'll see. Okay, so 27, departure 27. And if somebody hits up the chat real quick, I got it blocked with my other program, so give me a second to respond if you guys do chat something. 27,
yeah, Boston traffic, JetBlue 203
then
taking off runway 27 on the Bruin 7.
Let's see what type of approach we can do on this runway. I really don't feel like doing a VOR DME. So I guess ILS off of Alex might be the best. Yeah, ILS off of Alex. Okay, cool. So that's going to be an ILS runway 19. ILS Zulu off of Valix. And our arrival is LD4 Kilo into good old Keflavík. Okay. Check out our performance numbers tonight. Be curious to see what this takeoff is going to be like out of here. So, actually, hold on. First, I need to get my reserve fuel. Reserve fuel tonight is going to be 6.1. And our cost index on this flight is going to be 56. Giving us a cruise of 330 the entire time, unless something changes midway. But it seems like that's going to be the one. Let's see what the wind is doing tonight. 281 at 22, so there's not much at top of climb. It might pick up as we go. Alright, let's check out our performance data here because this is what I'm most curious about. 27, runway conditions dry. Max runway weight exceeded. Okay, so we are going to have to depart on probably 3-3. Okay. Let's see. 3-3 left. Going to be the one. Okay, so let's adjust that because yep, I can't get off on 27 even if I bump it. It's not going to work. So 3-3 left. Special request. Okay, that's totally fine. So let me switch that up here real quick because that's not going to change too much. Just going to be the runway, but the departure is still the same. Takeoff. Oops, index. Perf. N1 limit. Okay, 3-3 left. Calculate. There we go. 37 degree flux temperature. Well, not flux temp because it's not an Airbus, but 37 degrees. 5 degrees. Flaps and 158. That's a high V speed. 161. Jeez, that's like 777 V speeds right here. This is like what we've been doing in the 777 lately. 166. Center of gravity, 5.5 on the trim. Get that real quick. And we'll be pretty much ready to go. Bleeds on, anti-ice off. That checks. That's about 5.5 right there. Alright, cool. 166, and I'll get the mode control panel set up. Alright, 166, runway heading. 330, but I'm pretty sure it's an RNAV departure. I haven't looked at that, but I would assume out of Boston. Yeah, it's an RNAV departure. I'm looking at it on the screen there. So 330 on the heading. Let's get up to 33,000 feet, I think I said. Pretty sure I said 330. Get our altimeter set. The pressure came up a little bit. It was like 29 or 46 when we landed. Now it's 29 or 60. So that storm system must be moving out. Okay, 330. LNAV, VNAV, RTO. Let's get the APU going and then we'll prepare for pushback and departure. Kick this off. I don't really need that. Kick that off. Put traffic on. Terrain. My auto ATC 2471 is the squawk code. 2471. Cool. Alright, let me get the APU up and running and then we'll keep going from there. So give me a second here to grab something and I'll be right back shortly. I realized I already had it with me. Never mind. Stupid. I'm dumb. Alright, APU needs to fire up. That'll be good. Dual bleeds, fine. Once that kicks on, we'll get the noise. Turn our electric hydraulic pumps on. Alright. We're officially ready to roll here, so we're going to get GSX rolling. And let's get on our way to Iceland. Alright, request pushback and departure. No, I don't want de-icing. It's just a waste of time. Alright, let's see if I can push back to the right. Cool. Anti-collision lights on. All these fuel pumps are loading up. Everything else is good for now. Fuel bleed is fine. I'm going to be starting up the engine, so it doesn't really matter.
Hello, Captain. We are ready
330.
for pushback.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, really, we just need to push back and we're good. Follow ownership. Let's see what the ATC situation is and the traffic situation. And there's a lot of aircraft here. Wow.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Cool. We're pretty much good to go. Do we need to do chalks? Let's see. Ground. Connections. Release. And we can remove chocks. We got the parking brake on, so we're good there. Okay. There it is, all ready to go. Couple aircraft over there. Can't see them right now. Yeah, we should be able to push back to the right, so that'll work. Either guy landing or coming in.
We're not our A5, which runway are you using for arrivals? We're using runway 27 for arrivals. Runway 27, thanks.
3-3 left in real life.
And Boston traffic, American 1296.
Release parking brakes, please.
Left, runway 32 left. Correction, 33 left.
All right, release parking brakes.
Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push is completed and brakes are set.
Beautiful. Okay. Fuel switches are on. Let's get our engine page up. We're rolling, so let's fire up the engines. Okay, starting number uno. And I have a drink. Drinking some beer tonight. Sorry, I just hit the mic with it. Will be my drink of choice for this evening's flight. Oh, you know what? Forgot to start my timer. Well, at least it's not snowing here anymore because our arrival was pretty crummy weather. Wasn't looking good at all. We broke out at like 900 feet. Oh yeah, that guy's coming in nicely right there. Okay, so this will line us right up for Charlie, which I think I can take straight to the end. Alright, that engine's up and running. Start the next one. Probably put TCAS on, by the way. Probably be a good move. Yeah, it's a kind of a busy night here. There's a couple aircraft hanging out. I think I'm really the only one moving right now, though.
Please set parking brakes.
Alright, parking brake is set. Confirm engine start.
Cockpit
Alright, we're
oiled.
good.
We have a good engine start.
On 2 miles
You
per
can
hour, runway
disconnect.
33 left. Boston traffic.
There he is. He's laying down there. I think he's laying down the runway we'll be taking off on, which is the ends right there, I think. Too bad we weren't pushed back a little quicker. We probably could have seen him. Okay. That engine's up. Let's go ahead and kick that on. We'll turn the APU bleed off. APU can go bye-bye.
Unlocking gear.
Oop. There we go. Perfect. Just gotta wait for them to clear. We'll get the flaps to 5 and then we'll start taxiing.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Left is clear, right is clear. Okay, so let's go flaps 5. This guy's driving that tug like a maniac. Kind of strange. Alright, flaps are coming down. Marshall's right there. That guy's about to touch down. Pretty cool. Alright, just got the wave. Okay, they're walking away. Let's do it. Taxi lights are on. Kick that off. Boston traffic, United 152, taxiing runway 33 left via Charlie, Boston. Okay, here we go. 33 left. Charlie should be a pretty straight taxi. It's like literally just staying on the taxiway we're on right now, which is pretty cool. And we're pretty heavy. These screens are a little bright. I think I'm going to kick them down a little bit more. Kind of hurt my eyes. Back the coloring a bit. And the FMC is a little bright. Knock that down a hair. Alright, I'm fine with everything else though.
Boston traffic, American 1296, and a 33 left, get a mic taxi into the ramp.
He turning? I can't tell. Yeah, he is. Oh, cool. Yeah, look at that. U.S. Airways. Pretty fancy. That's a throwback right there. Looks like there's another arrival coming in on that same arrival I did earlier. Man, this thing is so heavy tonight. I can feel it, like the weight of it just in the taxiing. Okay, this is bright. I don't like that. Turn that down a little bit. Jesus. Like, I don't need that glaring in my face too. Alright, 22 left, 4 right, crossing that right now. Another longer run. I think that's the longest runway here, actually. I'm not looking at the chart that denotes the distances, but I think that's the longest, and then 33 left is the next longest. I'm not very familiar with Boston. It's not an airport I fly in and out of very often. Although it seems to pull some pretty good traffic on VATSIM. Not like JFK, but still pretty good traffic. Alright, Charlie veers off here to the right. So we'll go ahead and do that. And the runway is not too much further. So not a bad taxi. Actually, that was a pretty quick taxi, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it went a lot quicker than some of the taxis at O'Hare go. Some of those take forever. I wonder if they ever, you know, and I haven't done an update on this, but I was going to say, I wonder if they ever incorporated the weather radar into this. I don't think they have. Or maybe they have. Let's see. Nah, we would have picked up something by now. Yeah, they haven't. It's funny how they put it on the 777, but they never brought it over to the 737. Alright, we're rolling up on the end here. I'm going to go ahead and make the call. Boston traffic, United 152, lining up and departing 33 left, Boston. Maximize this runway. We're so dang heavy tonight. It's like the... well, it can take more, but this is pretty heavy for a 737. Alright, let's see. Let's try to line this thing up the best we can. Maximize that runway. Alright. Correct a little to the right. Perfect. Alright. Let's get our landing lights on.
Descending on the roadbook 3 arrival for runway 3
Strobes and wings. Here we go. Alright. Let's get out of here.
Boston traffic, 2630 to specify the J
Did I hit my... Yes, I did. Alright, Toga. And we're off. Full speed barreling down the old runway. I know I didn't stream the takeoff from O'Hare, but I did it. It was like a takeoff 2. It was so derated. I think the engines were like at 83% on full throttle or on throttle up when I did Toga. It was so quiet. All right, rotate.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. And away we go. VNAV speed.
Skyhawk number 985 Quebec 9000 saying 7000 just over Frosty. We'll set up the ILS runway 27 on traffic.
I think you want oh, look at that. There we go. A little derate there. Beautiful. I love when that happens. I like when you can hear the cutback. All right, we are up and out of here. Starting to hit this haze layer, so I'm going to go ahead and hit on the engine anti-ice. There we go.
And Skyhawk 985 Quebec, that's Speedbird 3, Charlie Mike. I believe we're up to your 3 to 6 o'clock. We're descending through 11,000 of the roadbook 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're Charlie Mike Kilo.
No,
All right, flaps 1.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, man. Let's see. Flaps up here shortly.
Boston traffic, sir. 2630.
All right, flaps up.
250 to join the ILS for 30 left.
The hell is this guy doing? Tindering while he's flying? All right, landing gear lever. Put that to the down position or off position. And just like that, we're climbing out, almost out of these clouds. Okay, let me double check this departure.
Boston traffic, sir, from 630 for
Okay, that's easy. All right, perfect. All the traffic is to the south of me, so we got no factor, basically. Pretty much traffic's gonna be no factor. All right, I'm gonna switch over to Unicom because I don't need to be on this anymore at this point in our flight. We'll go ahead and kick that over. Awesome. Oh, what's going on? All right, hold on. Let me see. I'm going to try to pronounce Mach 2 Hig. Sorry if I butcher it. I suck at pronouncing people's usernames, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for clicking on it. I appreciate it. Not too much is going on. Just departed out of Boston. Heading up to Keflavík, Iceland. Randomly. In a 737, so that's kind of fun. So, just climbing out right now. Yeah, I apologize if I butcher usernames. And I feel like I always have to do that as a disclaimer because I'm so bad at pronouncing them. Unless there's like a shortened version or something else you'd rather have me call you. But yeah, if I said that completely wrong, I apologize. Not a bad climb out. Actually, the weather cleared up a lot compared to what it was when we came in. I mean, this isn't bad at all. Boston. I didn't want to let them know that I'm from Chicago. Everybody says there's a Chicago accent. I don't know what that is. I really don't. I've even listened to people that are also from Chicago, and I still don't get the Chicago accent. I don't know. I'm not sure what's different about it. Oh, good. Wow. That's a rarity for me to get it correct, so it's nice to know. For once. Literally for once. Okay, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit more. Again, we're just gonna be flying over the ocean. Pretty much here. Oh wow, where's this guy? Oh wow. This guy's going to Newark. So this guy right up here is going to Newark, New Jersey. He's coming from Portugal, I think. Can't remember that airport code, but I think it's Portugal. Okay, passing 11. Hey, what's up, Balls Deep? Yeah, I run my graphics pretty high on Microsoft 2020, but 2024 I have to run them at, I guess, one step below Ultra. This game, though, actually has really solid graphics. Plus, it's this airplane, the cockpit, you know, the detail of it is really high-end. That's super bright. I don't really need the circuit breaker. Give her the floodlight here, too. That's just kind of I'll leave it on a little bit. Everything's just so bright when you first get in to load up the plane at night. Must be a full moon, too, because the night texture is pretty bright. Alright, we're out of these clouds. Let's get anti-ice off. Improve our climb performance a little bit here as we climb on up to 330. I started taking an adventure through the aircraft cabin, but it only lets me go so far. Wait, where's the door? There's the door. Alright, there we go. Oh, nice. Okay, so it actually did simulate that pretty well. For some reason, it stopped me, like, yeah, I'm not allowed to go past first class. Like, I guess I'm not a peasant enough or whatever. I don't really get it. Not sure why not, but... Welcome aboard. Touch the screen to continue. It's a little different than the 777. But yeah, it's kind of weird that it won't let me go further. I don't know why. Something with the PMDG, I guess. 737, the 777, we could walk the entire cabin. I can't get like a cool wing view then, you know? I get like a... Like that just looks stupid. I want to look at the engine. Well, whatever. Back to the cockpit we go. 15,000 feet. Yeah, unfortunately there really wasn't any air traffic control on tonight. I thought maybe Boston would be staffed up, but they were staffed up earlier today. And we're leaving the coast. They're staffed up earlier when I arrived because it was snowing and stuff. Seems like anytime there's snow in this game during the winter, they staff up the airport because everybody's flying there. Ma to Hig. I'm wanting to start streaming Flight Sim also. Just need another computer for the streaming computer. Oh yeah. Any advice? Well, I would say be yourself. The one thing I always like to say is, you know, when you get behind the mic, you can be that person that can be cocky or kind of, I don't know, kind of like be a jerk or whatever. I would just say use it as an opportunity to straighten your tie and kind of be the person you want to be. Hey, what's up, Airbus guy? Good to see you again. Yeah, it's been a bit. Glad you stopped back by. But yeah, in terms of new streamers, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a very advanced or established streamer. I really just started doing this. I've been on YouTube forever, but I really just started streaming more consistently probably in the last last month. But I would say stay consistent, be yourself, and then yeah, I always run low latency just so I can have better interaction with you guys. And, well, I hope that it has low latency, so when I respond to what you ask me, it's like instantaneous. But yeah, be yourself. And when you get on, even if you don't have anybody watching, just keep talking. It's weird at first because there's so many times where I'll sit here and for the first 20, maybe 30 minutes, I don't really have anybody watching. But I'll just sit here and keep talking to myself as if there are people watching. And it seems to work. And then as people join, you just get to have the fun conversations, welcoming them. What I always like to do, and I'm actually gonna ask you the same thing, is, you know, YouTube gives you a lot of good analytics of how people find your stream. Like it was served up in the featured or browse section or recommended. But then I always like to ask the people that end up on the stream, what made you actually click on my stream when you saw the title and the thumbnail? Like what made you click on it? Because most people don't tend to click on streamers that only have 2 viewers. Normally they're finding the people that have a ton of viewers. And those are the ones that are being watched. So yeah, I'll ask you the same question. What made you click on it? I'm just out of curiosity. Airbus guy, it's going pretty good. Been streaming a lot. Flew into Boston earlier today when it was snowing there, so that was a lot of fun. They had the airport pretty staffed up, so we had center approach, tower, ground, and really low visibility with snow, so I enjoyed the approach. We broke out. I saw the runway at about 900 feet, and it was still a little dicey. It was still kind of going in and out, but we had the lights pretty consistent there. So it's been going well. Now I'm just flying up to Iceland for whatever reason I decided to go there. Loose Cannon, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by again. I appreciate you guys all returning, dropping in. It makes it so much more fun. Like Matsuhig was asking me about any advice, and you know, just keep talking. And then as you get people in here, engage with them, and you want to engage with them, it makes it way more exciting. Because let's face it, after you take off or after you land in Flight Simulator, that's really the most exciting part. The cruise is kind of boring. We're getting really bounced around with this wind. Kind of shocking. Maybe they did an update and finally added like turbulence back into this game, because there used to be no turbulence. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. I never turned off all my lights. Been too busy blabbing. Okay, well, that's really all I needed to turn off there. Keep the seatbelt sign on for a little bit. Well, yeah, Loose Cannon, I appreciate you stopping by again. It was good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. I've been having a lot of fun streaming. It's gotten a lot, I don't know, it's gotten more exciting. Like, I got my rhythm down, kind of, so it's not as complicated to get fired up and all that. For me, it was the title of Boston. VATSIM Transatlantic flight. Boston is my home airport. Oh, nice. Yeah, ironically, I've never actually been to Boston in real life. For some reason, I've traveled a fair amount since I was a kid, but I never really went to the East Coast that much. I've connected on the East Coast in Charlotte, Washington, Dulles, been to Charleston, but that's really it. So even in Flight Simulator, I never flew to Boston that much. But this morning when I saw that they were getting hammered with snow when I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, I decided I'm going to go to Boston. That'll be fun. It's a cool airport. I think it's neat. Like, I like the fact that it's situated almost half surrounded by water. The runway layout is unique. It's actually pretty big terminals too. They got a lot of stuff crammed in a pretty tight space, so pretty cool airport. I'm always trying to fly to different spots. Keeps the game exciting. The one thing I need to get better at, I think that would help enhance the streams too, is on the weekends when I typically do VATSIM flights, because during the week I'm mostly doing career mode flying. But when I do the VATSIM flights on the weekends, I should try to go to airports where there's actual events happening, where they're like, if Friday Night Ops is still a thing on the VATSIM network or VAT USA. It used to be an event where every Friday a different airport would host a fly-in and they'd staff up multiple positions for it. That was pretty big. And then they'd always seem to have one on Saturday. And then sometimes on Sunday they have more smaller ones, like Virtual Airlines would host their own. You're not even American. That's funny. Well, I appreciate you still checking it out. Jesus, we're getting just rocked by this wind. I feel like I've never seen it do that to a 737. I mean, flying like the Grand Caravan, when I used to do that for fun on this game, you would get moved around a lot, but this is just really weird. I can't tell if that's a dead pic. I might have a dead pixel, and I just got this screen. I do have a... That stinks. I got a dead pixel, and I just bought this. Literally just got this screen for 4K. Dead pixel. Brand new screen. Whatever. It's not going to bother me. We got a couple of people kind of going the same direction here on the network. I'm kind of looking at, you know, where are they going. Got a guy, he's a little off to the right. I might be able to pick him up if I zoom out one more. No, he's behind us. He's going from JFK to Frankfurt, so he's going to be cutting over way south of us. Our route's taking us so far north here. I'll pull this over so you guys can see. So we're right here. We're denoted by that. That's the guy that I was just talking about. So if I zoom out, I'm actually going to turn the traffic off for a second because this thing's going to lag like crazy if I zoom out with it on. But you guys get a feel for where we're going. So we're going to go up through Maine. Going to go up through past Gander and all that. And then we're going to stay south of Greenland just by a little bit. And then from there... Yeah, I got a, you know what, I think I did. I don't even remember what screen I bought. I bought it a while. I, like, bought it well before Christmas, and then I just had my in-laws give it to me, so I don't even remember what the heck I bought. But, yeah, so that's our route. And then, in terms of weather, we're pretty clear here. There's a little bit on the radar, but it's not going to be a factor. Some turbulence, and then there's this insane jet right here, so that'll be nice. But if you look at the weather at Keflavík, look at this. 29 knot crosswind. I mean, we might need to do something different. 120 at 30, gusting 41. And that's right now, though. Who's to say that's going to be like that when we get there? It could change. I don't know if they have a TAF. They do. I honestly, I don't even know when we're due in. Look at all the tempos. That's a wild METAR. So that's a lot of wind. Oh, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, because we had the weather in Chicago a little bit before you guys. And we had really windy days. And then we got the snow. And then it just got super cold. Like right now. Today actually wasn't bad. I was able to shovel my driveway and actually have it dry up, thankfully, before it froze. Because I hate when that happens. Sometimes I just don't even shovel because I'm lazy. But yeah, you guys had some good snow earlier today. Because I think I landed... It might have been around 2:30, 3 o'clock. I'd say, yeah, Eastern time. And it was still snowing. Like, the weather at the airport was changing. It went from 3 miles with mist to 1.5 with snow. Then it went to 2, and then it went back down to 1.5. So it was pretty good weather you guys had on the East Coast today. Alright, well, we're almost at our cruise. Oh, yeah. The metric system. I don't know if that'll ever happen. We're too high on, like, independence and being different. I can only imagine the amount of chaos it would cause. I mean, maybe we will. Who knows? We've been doing a lot more stupid stuff than, you know, causing chaos by switching to the metric system. But yeah, that wind is gonna be fun. I kind of hope it stays like that. It'll make for a fun landing. Dang, this thing's got 320. Oh, but okay. I was gonna say the radar doesn't go that far though. I kind of like having the terrain on. It looks cool with the water. Although I would typically have the weather radar on. Look at this climb. We're crawling to 330. I mean, this thing can barely get there. We're so heavy. I feel like that's something that would not happen while Donald Trump is president. But I don't know, maybe they would. All right, 1,000 to go. And once we get up there, I'm going to update the wind on the legs page. I could probably do it right now, honestly, but I'll just wait until we get to 330. And I still got a pretty steady tailwind. Not too bad there. Let's see what the exterior is looking like. Yeah, where's this full moon? Let's see if we can find. Oh, there it is, right above us. No wonder it's so bright. It's literally right above us. Let's see if we can find any constellations. I was coming home from Dallas at the beginning of December. Oh, look at that. We're right in the exhaust. But we were coming from Dallas and I could see the Big Dipper so well. Actually, isn't that the Big Dipper right there? I'm pretty sure it is, because it was in like the north horizon. Maybe it's not though. I feel like it shouldn't be rotated that way. But, well, no, maybe it would make sense with how we are right now. Yeah, no, you're right. We got bigger problems right now. Our country got a little loony for a bit. We'll see what Trump does. He's very, very determined on this whole Make America Great Again thing. I mean, let's be real though. The guy does a lot of good for people that run businesses. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he literally bonus depreciation. I mean, if you did capital investments, which, you know, you take the money your business made and reinvest it into the business to enhance your business, whether it's to remodel it or expand it or whatever, you can shelter so much of your income tax. So, I mean, kind of makes sense. Like, it forced people to put money into their business that employs people to improve their business so that they can be more productive and sell more or do whatever. So, I don't know. Everybody has a different opinion on that, man. That's for sure. But it depends on, I guess, your position. Like, if you're not a business owner, I could see where people would be like, well, why does that matter? Well, it's not a direct impact on you, but, you know, the company you work for is incentivized more to take their profits and invest it back into the company for the purpose of then being able to shelter any profits or retain more profits by paying less. I mean, at one point you could avoid paying taxes on 100% what you made, depending on what you could, shelter and depreciate. Crazy stuff, but yeah, not applicable to everybody. Who knows? I'm optimistic, and I'm curious to see what'll happen, because the last 4 years has just been kind of, I don't know, they've been very long. 2016 to 2020 was fast. 2020 to 2020 to now has been so slow, and it seems like we lost basic common sense in the decisions that we've made. Oh, yeah, okay. English living in Canada. What's your opinion on the whole Canada becoming part of the United States thing? It's funny too, like Greenland as well. It's so crazy. I'm assuming you're happy that your prime minister is stepping down. Seems like that was like the general consensus of the entire population of Canada, was that they wanted Justin to go away. I was just like hearing, you get spewed so much BS from the media and stuff. It's nice to just get the opinion of somebody that's just living their life in that country, like I'm living my life in this country. Yeah, yeah, it was definitely time for change. I mean, I could say the same. I thought Biden was kind of a moron. I don't think he really did anything good. And I really don't think he did anything, I guess is the best way to kind of sum it up. I don't know what he did for America. That's what I don't... Like, Elon Musk kind of put it best. When you're making a decision in government, the first question you should ask yourself is, how does this benefit the American people? And if you can't answer that question, then you probably shouldn't make that decision. And I feel like a lot of that didn't happen, and it was just kind of... I don't even think he was really making any decisions. All his advisors, obviously, had control over him. That's my opinion. I mean, the stuff that we were doing, it's insane. And the other thing I don't get is we have so many problems in this world, or in this country, that if they took a fraction of the money that they are consistently sending to Ukraine and rerouted a fraction of that back into helping this country with certain stuff, like, we would be so much better off. But it makes you then question, all right, you got two choices: send the money to Ukraine, or or say you're going to spend $50 billion or whatever, however much money we've given Ukraine. Well, let's just call it 10 billion. He passes some crazy thing. Say you got 10 billion and it's either going to Ukraine or it's going to go back to the American people to fund stuff that's actually going to help them, not like stupid projects that are overinflated in price that never make any progress. Like actual stuff, helping veterans, helping single mothers, or helping people be able to afford daycare and stuff like that. So those are your two choices. Why do they pick Ukraine? Why not help the American people? And the only question then I can ask is there some better benefit to those individuals that are making the decision to send $10 million overseas, where they're somehow having it rerouted back to them and it lines their pockets, where they have an advantage, or they get, something in return for it? Because you give it to the American people, you're helping the American people, but that money goes to the people and it doesn't make its way back in the government. So it's almost like, okay, you got to start asking yourself those questions. Why would they send it overseas? You almost think they use our tax dollars to send to Ukraine, and Ukraine is now, in return, funneling money right back into the politicians' pockets. Like, that's it just, I don't know. People just don't ask enough questions. How is this advantageous for us? Maybe it's advantageous for the politicians because, yeah, they're not going to get them. There's no way for them to wash the money or launder it back into their own pockets when they actually give it to the American people. It just gets circulated into the system. So, I don't know. I guess the government's not really helping people. And then, you know, it ties together with the fact that you got people that go into government that were making maybe just crossing six figures. They get into government and then they become multimillionaires on a publicly known salary level. And then, like, Obama went in with nothing. And now he comes out and the guy's got, like, he had how many houses? Like 6 different houses? All multi-million-dollar homes each? Come on. Like Joe Biden making all his money. He's been in government all that time on a salary that's not huge. And this guy's got some pretty nice homes. And those homes aren't cheap, man. Sure, you can pay it off over time, but the taxes keep going up. You know, it's expensive to maintain that stuff. It's not cheap having multiple homes. Yeah, 100%. It is true. When the rich wage war, the poor suffer, and the rich get richer. It's very wild to see how deeply I guess call it corruption, but you know how deeply rooted there is, like, corruption in our government between the healthcare system, the drug companies, the FDA. They're all in it together, and there's, you know, and then you got perfect example. Like, so we did a construction project, like I was saying, with our company, and we needed to rip up an entire parking lot on the property, and we wanted to get rid of it being asphalt and actually put concrete in because it's more durable, it lasts longer. Sure, it's more money up front, but it's a better investment. They had to do a study, multiple studies. They had to do a soil sample first in multiple areas for environmental purposes, not just to see if the base was strong enough. And then they had to do a water runoff study. And you're not allowed to do anything until you complete those. They charge you so much money for them. You're only allowed to use certain people. It's like so unnecessary. It hampers everything down, and it takes almost longer to do anything. And sometimes that's almost more than just getting the project going itself. It's insane the amount of regulation we have, but it's so intertwined. And then these government grants where they just go blow all this money. Like how much they were overcharging for Air Force One. It's just insane. But whatever. I digress. This is a flight simulator stream, not a political rant. These are all my own opinions. And I don't like to force them on people. I just speak my mind, and if people agree, cool. If people don't agree, that's cool too. I'm totally open to differing opinions. I know a lot of people aren't. It's like my way or the highway. But yeah. I think Congress should have term limits too. You know, what kind of stinks is it's government. I get it, but you're also kind of running the country, which is kind of a business in itself, and you're making a lot of big decisions. And if you think in any other thing we do in life when it comes to running something, if you're not doing a good job, you either end up having to shape up or you get shipped out. Like, it's how everything is. A CEO comes in, he sucks, they get rid of him, they bring somebody new in, because with change comes opportunity, right? You need new ideas, you need a new playbook. You know, if you're not good at your job, you're going to get replaced with somebody that is good at that job. It's just how it is. Like, the fact that these people can sit in Congress all these years, not really be rated on any sort of performance, and then when they royally screw up or do something really dumb, that they can just stay there. It's like, no. If you were the CEO of if the presidency was like being the CEO of a company, you should be able to get fired. Like, no, you didn't do your job. You didn't perform your duties. You didn't accomplish your goals. You know, your job performance, not good. Time to move on. We need somebody else. New ideas, new blood, new motivation, somebody that has a vision, somebody that wants to get things done. But yeah, I agree. Get term limits all day. The inbuilt A350. I haven't actually looked at that much, and I really want to, because I've been watching a lot of, I like watching airplane YouTube videos, like cockpit videos and stuff like that. And I'll tell you what, right now, of all the aircraft, man, the A350's cockpit is just mesmerizing to me. That cockpit is so futuristic. It puts the 787 cockpit to shame. As much as I love Boeing, and really all I've ever flown in flight sim is Boeing, but I might have to look into that. It's the only thing that's tough is I don't know anything about Airbus's flight management system, how you input stuff into it. Like, I know an FMC and an FMS like the back of my hand at this point for Boeing. So it'd be really difficult to kind of change. But I'll have to check out some videos on it and actually look at it, because I'm assuming they did a really good job. I'm really waiting for the PMDG products to make their way to Flight Sim 2024, but in all honesty, I don't even think that game can... I don't even know if I'll be able to handle it. That game just beats my PC up. The whole streaming thing is kind of wonky. I think a lot of people are kind of in that same feeling. You know, why stream the game? Why can't we just download all the data? Turn some lights on. It's so dark in this thing. So this guy right next to us, he is going to Paris from Montreal, I believe. CYUL, Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima. Loose cannon, you might be able to confirm that. Is Charlie Yankee Uniform Lima, Montreal. Oh, you want to learn IFR? Huh. I'll teach you. Ask me any questions you have. I love sharing any sort of information. I had to do a lot of digging to learn what I know on my own over the last 20 years of me playing flight sim, and learning from videos and my own research, and then actually flying, and you know, when I was still actively flying in real life. So I totally want to share the information I know to everybody else, so they don't have to go through the same stuff I had to figure it out. But yeah, ask me any sort of questions. I love helping out. And IFR it's a lot of fun. It's definitely worth learning, because it's the most immersive form of flying, I think, especially in a simulation world where you have the most fun. I'll have to make some more videos on that too. I gotta make some more career mode videos on like how to pass the check rides and stuff like that, or the certifications. But yeah, the IFR it seems complicated at the surface, but after you kind of get a good explanation, you kind of see it, it's not as daunting as it seems. Everything I feel like is daunting at first. Learning in smaller aircraft, that's a good way to do it. A lot of them have the same systems, just it's different ways of inputting it, different layouts. But I mean, the first thing I always say is learn the autopilot. Learn the different modes, you know, how to get the expected output that you want based on the input that you're putting into the autopilot commands. Yeah, in those smaller planes, you gotta change the source because sometimes they don't necessarily want to go off of the GPS. Honestly, it's almost easier flying in these bigger planes because you can use these tools like SimBrief to import the flight directly into the plane. You don't have to key anything in. It's no longer like back when I was younger, like in my teens, early to mid-teens, we didn't have all these cool third-party applications for flight sim to easily load a long-haul route into the flight management system. So you were sitting there keying every single waypoint and fix and VOR into it, and the jetways and all that stuff. It took forever just to set up for a long haul. It took like a good 30 minutes of programming. But you learned a lot from having to do that. I definitely appreciate knowing how to do it. How far away is this guy? I wonder if we can see him. Oh, he's still behind me. A couple miles too. Well, it's worth taking a peek. I don't see anything. He's 2,000 feet below me. I don't think we're gonna see him for... Well, here, hold on. Let me compare speed. He's doing 500 over the ground. I'm doing 477. Yeah, he will actually catch up to me. Okay. We'll see him in a little bit, maybe, depending on his route. I think he's going more east. I'm going more northeast, so he's probably gonna pass behind me actually, just because of his route. But I don't think we will see him. Oh, you use SimBrief? Nice. Yeah, SimBrief is the best. I love that. SimBrief with Navigraph charts, can't beat it. It's like the best thing that ever happened to Flight Simulator, I think. When it comes to IFR loose cannon, do you fly on VATSIM? Or are you still trying to get a little bit more familiar with procedures before you jump on the network? I'm surprised VG Master didn't stop by. It's late for him though. He's an East Coaster. And I think sometimes he has to work, I think, in the mornings. So he might be working tomorrow. He could be asleep already. But I figured I'd throw his name out there. He's got to be one of the most dedicated subscribers I have. I appreciate that too. So if you watch this, VG Master, we miss you. And I do appreciate your dedication because you literally are like at every stream you can possibly be at. Very, very fast too. Oh, beyond ATC, nice. There you go. That's perfect. Yeah, you'll be up and running in no time. You're on the right path, that's for sure. You got the right programs. You're doing the right steps. Most people just jump right into it and get a little over their skis, and then the air traffic controllers get all grumpy with you. When was it? So a couple months ago, like what I'm kind of doing on Flight Sim right now is I like doing United Airlines flights, so I downloaded their entire schedule to an Excel spreadsheet. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to complete all of the flights from their major hubs. So like I took the spreadsheet, filtered it to show all of the flights out of Denver. And I flew all those flights, and as I'd fly them, I'd go there and back, and then I'd delete it off the spreadsheet so that I knew that I did it. And I was flying out of Denver a ton, obviously, because they have a ton of United flights. Months and months and months I was flying out of Denver. And the same air traffic controllers were on pretty frequently with the same time that I was always flying on the weekends. And there was this one guy, that would be so moody. He would get so pissy towards the pilots. It was almost brutal. Like, if you didn't respond to the guy within 3 seconds of him giving you an instruction, he would repeat it very, very angrily. And he would just call you out. It was horrible. And he would get in, like, pissing matches with people. Like, one time he got in a fight with this guy who claimed that he worked at, he was, like, ground ops for Denver, but he didn't know the taxi, like a certain taxiway and how it's only used in this scenario, and this air traffic controller guy had to correct him and all this stuff. They got in like a pissing match of who knew more because of their real world experience. It was so stupid. But yeah, that stuff always cracks me up. I was looking the other day. I've been on VATSIM. It was like a couple streams ago. I was looking. I've been a part of this network, I think, since 2005. I have a log on from the end of winter, like November, December of 2005. Was one of my first sessions on the network, which is insane to think about. Actually, that would mean this year, like the end of this year, would be 20 years since I've been flying on VATSIM. Holy cow. That went by fast. That's more than half my life. I don't know if that's pathetic or cool. But it when I was younger and I still had my heart set on wanting to be a commercial pilot for a career, when you're 12, 13, however old I was in 2013, 14, I don't even remember. But finding something like this and taking your flight simming to the next level of now you have real air traffic control that you get to talk to was probably the coolest thing I've ever found in my life. And then actually getting to do the air traffic controlling was super interesting to me. I did that for a while. Actually did a little bit when I was in college too. But I have not done that recently. I tried getting back into it, but it just doesn't work with my schedule now. I don't have the time. I like barely now have the time to do this. Having a child and all that. It's hard. I used to be able to dedicate as much time as I wanted to this, but now, not possible. The interruptions are so different. And we haven't even been going for an hour yet. It's only 55 minutes since we pushed back. I mean, the stream's probably been going for a little over an hour. Yeah, I think that guy... Did he pass us? And we might be able to see him now. No, he's not rendered in. I don't think this game renders an aircraft until it's like 20 miles from you. You cause chaos with your accent. I don't know about that. I mean, you gotta... the accents are something that if you fly in VATSIM, you're dealing with regardless, because you got people from all over the world on the network. Like the couple streams back, we were in, I think, Tokyo, and we had Tokyo Center on, and I mean, I was quasi understanding what the guy was saying, only because I kind of was anticipating what he was going to instruct me to do. And I remember half the chat was like, how do you know what this guy's even saying? I can't understand anything. And I would just kind of pick apart. I'd hear like a runway number, I'd kind of hear the waypoint on a departure, and then I'd hear an altitude, and then clear for takeoff, and I'm just like, okay, cool. I know exactly what he said, even though it took him a lot longer to say it than I would have said it. And I'm flying in Europe. I love flying in Europe because I love like the German accents. Oh, they have regional accents? I've never used Beyond ATC before. Actually, I'm gonna Google it. I've heard of it a lot. Oh, it uses AI, okay. Honestly, you could probably just hop on the VATSIM network. You'll figure it out. You'll be good. Just don't go to an airport that's very, very busy with a ton of arrivals and departures. But like if you go to an airport where there's a center on and there's not a lot of air traffic, they'll help you out. The number one thing they're just worried about is that you're not going to follow instructions when you're in the air, and they're trying to you know, get you organized and get you spaced out from other aircraft. So they're expecting you to, you know, listen and actually put that command into your airplane, and they want to see it happening on their scope. They get nervous when that doesn't happen. But, you know, you go to Chicago early in the morning and there might be a Chicago center on, but there's only like 2 aircraft in the entire airspace system that they're controlling. They have no problem helping out new people. And it's very similar to Beyond ATC. Actually, well, I'm sure you've watched videos before on VATSIM and stuff. I was going to say my previous, like the stream I did earlier today when I was landing in Boston, I had Boston Center, Boston Approach, Boston Tower, Boston Ground on. So I was getting handed off to all sorts of different frequencies throughout the flight. But it would be kind of like a good example of what air traffic control is kind of like on VATSIM, flying into an airport that happens to be busy at that time and has multiple different positions staffed up. I did a short from a stream I did a while back when I was flying into Washington Dulles inadvertently during a big event. And it seemed like the air traffic controllers were all a bunch of friends or whatever, college buddies that were all hanging out at somebody's apartment, and they were all controlling from there because you could hear a bunch of people in the background controlling too. That used to be a big thing back in the day. People would have like controlling parties, especially college kids that were going to school for air traffic control or aviation. All their buddies would staff up a place and they'd all hang out, bring their laptops to like somebody's apartment and do it. Yeah, I mean, nav mode can use well, nav mode will use whatever navigation source you choose. So it'll use GPS, or in some aircraft it'll say FMS. It can use VOR. It'll track your localizer. So it depends on which one you switch it to. When you're flying those smaller aircraft, you'll have to use it in GPS mode when you're following the magenta route, I guess you could say. And then say you're about to go from magenta to intercepting a localizer for an ILS approach, you would want to switch it to going off of the nav 1 or ILS input. I actually had in that video I did for the instrument certification on the career mode for Microsoft 2024, I show switching it from GPS mode to ILS to intercept. But yeah, it can track off of those different sources. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Like if you just tune a VOR frequency into your nav 1 radio and you want to track an inbound course towards that VOR, you can do so, but you have to select that nav source for the autopilot to use, opposed to, say, you wanted to follow the flight plan or the magenta line or the direct to magenta line that you see on your map. in the case of a bigger plane like this, most of the time it'll auto switch. Like it's running multiples at once. You're always following the FMS through lateral nav. The lateral nav is following the magenta line in a plane like this. But then when it comes to an ILS approach, you still have to actually tune the ILS frequency into the nav panel. And then what you would do is it'll automatically then detect the glide slope and the localizer, and you'll see the preview on here. And then you would actually switch from LNAV to VOR loc. But but it'll hold on to either your LNAV path or if you do heading select until it intercepts. So there's always like a standby. Like the one thing you'll notice too with the autopilot is there's always a standby input that you can do. So, you know, when you're descending to an altitude or climbing to an altitude, you're doing it by either following a vertical navigation path, or you're doing it through vertical speed setting or flight level change, where you're maintaining a specific speed and your vertical speed is changing, or I guess it's more pitch, or you can do it on flight path angle. But it's always going to have two things. It'll show what your current mode is, and then it would say like altitude below. So it's saying, okay, I'm going to maintain the VNAV profile or my vertical speed climb or my flight level change climb, and then once I hit that altitude, I'm going to intercept that altitude and switch to alt mode to maintain it. Same thing with like heading. You can be flying a certain heading, and then you can have nav mode or approach mode armed for it to switch to once it intercepts that radial or whatever you have set up. But when you're flying during cruise or whatever, or like after takeoff, your nav mode will be GPS or FMS. Really, the only time you'll switch it is when you're getting ready to do an ILS approach. If you're going to do an RNAV approach, you don't need to switch it because it's going to follow that same thing because it's using GPS. But ILS obviously is using a frequency. So then you would have to change it since it's a different source. Navigation source, you could say. If that makes any sense at all. There's multiple different navigation sources because you have ADF, which really nobody uses. You have VOR, ILS. And then RNAV falls under GPS. I can't really show it in this aircraft, unfortunately. Actually, no, it wouldn't work. Never mind. I was going to say, could I actually accomplish showing it off? But I don't think I can. Oh, there's going to be a couple of us crossing the pond tonight. I'm not really crossing it fully, though. These other people are going to be crossing it fully. There's a guy going from Toronto to... I don't know. EGPF, Echo Golf Papa Foxtrot. Not sure what that airport is. Starting to yawn. Getting tired. Yeah, I wish if I literally had like a Cessna with the G1000, I could easily show you, or like the Vision Jet, stuff like that. Be so much easier to just show you because similar systems, just different display, I guess you could say. I was actually thinking about making a video of how to master the basics of autopilot and kind of just go over, start with like the basic stuff, basic modes, and then kind of get into the next layer of it, the more complex modes. Because when you think about it, there's how many different modes to descend. There's VNAV, flight level change, vertical speed, and then certain aircraft have flight path angle. So that's 4 different ways of descending, but they all do different things. Oh yeah, that is Glasgow, Scotland. I haven't flown there in a very, very long time. I was gonna say, I feel like it's something in the, like, northern UK, or it was gonna be like one of those airports up in there, but that does make sense. And I think it was a WestJet flight. Not sure. Would that make sense? Does WestJet go there? I don't know. I don't know anything about WestJet. I think it's interesting how many more carriers are starting to use 737 Maxes to cross the Atlantic in. And they're not special configurations. Like Air Canada had that A3, it was either an A319 or A320 that was basically configured in all business class seats that would cross from Toronto to St. John's to London Heathrow and back. Oh, you know what? I never updated my route data. Let's do that. Get a little bit different wind data here. Oh, nice. An AMP. Very cool. There's a guy on YouTube that I like watching. He's a mechanic for, I think, American Airlines. He makes these really cool videos. I think his YouTube channel is like Stig Shift or something. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Holy cow, look at the difference in wind. Oh, hold on. Let's do the forecast. There we go. Look at what's going to happen, though, when we get further along. LRX 203 at 111. Huh. That's insane. Right now, 241 at 12. Still 1,600 miles to go. Going to be doing it 720. So, a little more than 3 hours. I will not be staying up all night to complete this flight, actually, so we'll be completing it in the morning, just FYI, to anybody curious. I'm going to put on pause at top of descent and do the arrival tomorrow morning. Quiet night out here. Actually, there's a couple of people coming inbound now. Here's a guy coming from Heathrow to JFK in front of us. There's some guy doing some northern Canadian operations. That sounds kind of cool. Oh, there's a guy going from Frankfurt to Boston. Oh, man. They were bouncing around on the airspeed a little bit. Look at the Mach number, how drastically it changes just from that. They might have actually added some turbulence finally to this game. About time. It was always so calm. It's unfortunate that we don't get to do any step climbing. I think max altitude optimum is 3.5, so yeah, it won't make any sense. Top of descent 1527. Plane doesn't know what it wants to do, it's just trying to manage. Whoa. Kind of a cool view. Oh! Went through the door. There it is. Imagine sitting in the jump seat for all this time. That would suck. Huh. Oh, they got their registration and stuff. Latch door closed. Maintenance only. Emergency escape rope. Crazy how that's in here. I don't even know what's over here. What is this? What does this panel do? Data load selector. I have no idea what that is. I don't want to find out either. Alright, good. I got my chair set up here. God, that looks so uncomfortable. Could you imagine sitting in that thing for that long? It'd be horrible. You're like right on the frickin' panel. Ugh. No thanks. That'd be horrible. I always laugh when I see people jump seating in the Embraer 170. That thing is tight. I said, that's kind of cool, sunshade. I never noticed that. It's amazing the things you learn in this game. Got a couple more aircraft showing up. Alright, well, it's starting to get late here, so I think I might be getting ready to call this thing quits because there's really not much happening on the network, and it's starting to approach 10 o'clock my time, which I was up very early today, so I'm already naturally kind of tired. I'm thinking I might go ahead and call it a stream for tonight and hit the hay. And then, depending on when I get up tomorrow, maybe I'll stream the landing, or maybe I'll just film it, record a video off of it or something. I am trying to post some videos too. I want to work on my editing skills to improve my flight sim videos so that they're not boring, or at least more exciting to watch. So I'm gonna try to make those a little interesting. Oh God, dogs chasing coyotes. That's not good. All right, loose cannon. I appreciate you stopping by. It was nice chatting with you. Hope to see you see you around again in a future stream. And then Matu Hig, same to you. Thank you for stopping by. It was nice talking with you as well. Airbus guy, great to see you again. Balls deep. It was good to see you too. Hopefully I'll catch you all at another stream. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks again for stopping by. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you guys potentially tomorrow morning. Take care.